What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Denial of the Day podcast. And I'm here with Chris. Chris, where are you at?
I'm trying to work on a tan. I'm looking at your photo. You're a little more tan than me. So I'm
Indeed.
outside by the rocks, and apparently it's not working. I'm still really, really white.
You should try laying on a beach instead of the rocks. It's going to be more comfortable.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea there.
Well, today, after the hilarity that we just had for the comedy show, we're going to talk about something that's actually really important.
Mhm.
And Chris, what is that?
So one of the things we've noticed over the past, I don't know, 2 to 3 years
Mhm.
is we're seeing a lot of claims that obviously get filed when the insurance company actually hires an engineer to go inspect the property. Like
Interesting.
we're seeing these on a lot of claims.
Right. And I'll just share that it used to be what we would see it on is if claims were like at 100,000 or more. So it was mostly like large loss commercial claims. And then we started seeing a pattern. It was like $50,000 claims, which now includes residential. And now we're seeing it on $25,000 claims. It is
Crazy.
ridiculous. The insurance company hires this engineer, which we know some engineers that work for the insurance companies, and we know that their costs are anywhere from like five to $8,000 on a $25,000 claim. You, the insurance company, are hiring an
Mhm.
engineer that costs 20 to 40% of the cost of that claim to hire an engineer to do what, Chris?
Basically, all the reports stay the same or say the same thing. That's what's so funny about it.
Yeah.
And really, what they're doing, the insurance companies are just kind of shifting that liability over for themselves to the engineer because they can just flat out say, well, we hired an engineer, they're an expert, they have a little PE at the end of their name. So we're going to stick by this report no matter what. So,
And we're not talking about PE like in high school, right?
no.
We're not talking about the class. We're talking the person has a professional engineer stamp, right? And the thing is, I can tell you from experience, I was on a property, a commercial property, a large commercial property in Denver, and it had hail damage, storm damage from that recent storm. And I get up there with an engineer. I got involved after the fact, met the engineer up there on the property, and guess what? This engineer was a railroad engineer, not the person that actually drives the train as the conductor, but
Mhm.
he worked on railroads. This he engineered railroad plans and railroad designs, and he's with me up on a commercial property, commercial roof, talking
Mhm.
about hail damage. Why the hell is that guy up there? And so I called him out on it. I'm like, insurance company, this is complete BS. This does not do right by the insured. You have someone that isn't even trained for this type of damage. And guess what? We actually got another engineer who was better assigned to the
Mhm.
claim because I called him out on it because we requested a CV that shows their expertise. But to your point, Chris, like why? Like what's happening in the marketplace that this is common practice with the insurance company hiring an engineer to hide behind? I mean, what else is this creating, Chris?
Well, it's creating a lot more expenses for the insured because one, they're
Mm,
going to need an expert involved like us.
right.
And two, if we've got to take those extra steps, bring our own engineer out. That way, you're more on a level playing field. If the claim ever has to go to, let's say, an appraisal, or let's say even it has to go to legal, you got to have something on your
Right.
arsenal, your back end too. So,
Right.
I mean, that's an extra 2,500, 5,000, $7,000.
On
On
the
like a
residential side,
on a
I've
residential side.
yeah, I've been on commercial claims where the engineer fees are in the high like 30 to $50,000 because we had to have a structural or forensic engineer plus a mechanical engineer. I mean, this
Mhm.
claim was $5.3 million, but like that becomes an expense that is now a burden to the insured because ultimately they're
Mhm.
paying that cost, and it's unfair, but the insurance companies do it because most insureds don't want to do that. Some insureds
Exactly.
do. But if you're an insured and you have a 25,000 or $50,000 claim and it costs $3,500 for an engineer that you need to rebut the insurance company engineer report, like, what are you going to do here? Is it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. And it becomes an expense. But just like Chris was saying, one of the biggest things is if your insurance claim goes to insurance appraisal and you don't have something, how the appraisal process works, you're at such a disadvantage. And so the insurance company is like forcing the hand of the insured We don't think it's fair.
Yeah, we absolutely don't. And you just look at it at a cost analysis standpoint with the insurance company,
Yeah,
it's a lot cheaper for them to hire an engineer than it is to pay out a claim.
dude,
And
right?
we expect to see it. I mean, tile roofs, and one thing about tile roofs, you're always going to see the same verbiage, I feel like, in every single engineer report.
Yeah.
It's foot traffic, mechanical, whatever. But when
Bottom
they
right
actually
corner break.
yeah, exactly. But when you see it on a shingle roof, you're just
Right.
like, come on, man. Like, look at
Yeah.
these photos. These are
How
100%.
hard are you, insurance company, trying to not actually pay the claim which you owe on? We,
Yeah.
as public insurance adjusters, I think as a whole, I can't speak for everybody, but in our company, Bellator Claims, we are not taking on claims that we don't think have legitimate and reasonable damage, and we are writing legitimate and reasonable estimates for that damage to be brought to pre-loss condition based on the insurance policy. What? Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
we do. We don't want to take a claim on because our interests are directly aligned with the insured,
Hmm.
that when we take a claim on, the insured wins, we win. If the insured doesn't win, neither do we. So you have to ask yourself, well, okay, cool. And the reason that we have such a high success rate, I've been in the industry going on 11 years. I take claims that win. I want to take claims that win. We work on some other ones that were like maybe 50-50, but our threshold is 70-30. And I've been doing this long enough to know, hey, this is legitimate hail damage or smoke damage or water damage. This needs to be paid for. I wouldn't take the claim on otherwise. And so you
Hmm.
really have to question why the insurance companies are sending out engineers for everything. And I think Chris nailed it on the head. If I can shift the liability from me to another company and then rely on that company's report to deny coverage, yeah, it looks really good on me. And
Hmm.
the cost of that guy to go write a report that denies coverage is way less than paying that full claim. And so maybe we're
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists. Maybe we're not. But I can tell you, I've been doing this long enough to know there's some sort of proof and truth to what we're saying. Chris,
Yeah. And Taylor,
yeah,
conspiracy theorists, I mean, this is just the facts.
that's true.
If we reach out to these same engineers requesting their services for the insured,
Oh,
they're not going to help us
right.
because
Why not?
they're already tied to the insurance company and they're supposed to be unbiased. I mean, come on, like it's actually harder. It's really hard to find engineers for the insured, but these engineer companies are, making a ton of money
For
because
sure.
they're just sticking with the insurer, which is the insurance company, and they know
Right.
that they're going to keep getting these reports, and
Right.
pretty much they probably have a little template. Okay, we'll change the name on here. That's it. Change the
Yeah.
address in there. Here's my stamp. Good to go.
Dude, you nailed it. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And we
Mm,
see it time and time again, repetitively in their reports that just like you said, let's change this from here and put this in there. And now
mhm.
it's a new report.
Yeah.
And so
So
it's unfortunate, but guess what? Guess who now knows how to overcome that, Chris?
we do. Bellator claims.
BellatorClaims.com. We want to help you if you have a property insurance claim that you're not getting fully and fairly paid on. We continue to create this content. The marketplace is telling us that you guys actually really like it. So, would you do us
Hmm.
a favor? Would you please like it, click, share it, and then let other people know about it, and then subscribe to our channel? Because the more people that know this information, the more people can be helped. Let us know what we can do to help you. Chris, my brother in the Bat Cave on the Bat Rocks, we'll give you the last word.
Well, I just want to say that's what we're here for. We see all the ins and outs, but we're gonna fight for you. That's what we do here at
Fight
Bellator
for the
Claims.
insured. That's right.
Exactly.